Okay. Ooh, what is going on here? Nothing. The hell? What is this? Why? What? What the? Okay, let me check this elsewhere because why does it look like that? I it zoomed in on everything. What is the point of that? I don't know. I just do not know. We have one viewer, don't we? One viewer. Okay. Is it okay? That issue doesn't show up here, so it's just zoomed in this tab for some reason. But okay, whatever. So hello, ladies and gentlemen. Let me just check to make sure that the fan isn't too overbearing because I always have it on because I don't want to. I don't want to be too much of a bother to the people outside my room. I just yeah. I know how annoying I am, so I'd just rather they not get annoyed. Yeah, okay. Like it's when I stop talking, it goes all the way down there as if like the fan isn't on at all, which is good because like you don't want to hear a fan in the background. But yeah, anyways, I'm going to be playing AI Dungeon, and the reason why I'm playing AI Dungeon as opposed to Danganronpa, as you'd think I should be, it's because Vincent is not caught up with those streams. He's missed like three of them, and I mean, like sure, I mean, I could just continue anyway, but I feel like I want to at least give him the chance to catch up this time. Um, if past then he doesn't catch up, then yeah, I'd much rather just play the games past then, and then it's like up to him to do it, and not for me to wait for him. But right now, I'll give him the benefit and say I'll wait for him to catch up. I've been called out. Yeah, yeah. I just like I was saying, this one time, I will wait for you, like we did back in the first Danganronpa. But the next time this happens, I'm just gonna continue playing because I don't want to be stopped because I mean last time I ended right before like a battle in the class trial, and that's like the sort of thing that you don't want to end on, or at least you don't want to leave it in that long of a cliffhanger. So yeah. And as for the whole like streaming days in a row thing, and like me trying to get a certain amount of hours in, like 4 hours, I've just kind of abandoned that. Not for the time being, but I've just totally abandoned trying to get caught up in that regard because, like, I don't know, it's just things come up too often. I can't afford to say I'm gonna try and get caught up every time something bad happens because, like, I mean, there are always gonna be times where I just you know where stuff happens, and yeah. God. Anyways, I honestly don't know what I want to do now because so many other things are on my mind. But let's just ignore those things. Okay, you are, you are God. What am I? You are. Let's do an Amadeus thing. You are Antonio Salieri, a court composer composing in Vienna for what was his name again? Emperor, what was his name? Was it Joseph the Second? You are very loved, but you hate yourself because Mozart is much better than you, and also you have a crush on him. Uh, you have to add that sort of stuff in there. You are Joe. Oh, not anymore. You're Antonio Salieri. Oh God. I know I always talk about the dented microphone, but I just hate looking at it so much. God, it gets to me. It gets to me in such a subtle way, but I hate it. I just hate it. But whatever. Whatever. You're a yellow man. Yeah, that's what my profile picture would have you believe. Jesus Christ, your life suddenly, your life changes when the emperor dies suddenly of natural causes. The new emperor is not fond of music and does not care for your work, so he dismisses you from his service. You cry into your pillow. Good God, why? I'm out of a frickin' job. The emperor's death has left you with no one to support you. Your work as a court composer is now worthless, and the only thing that will keep you going is your love for Mozart. You send a letter to Mozart asking him to come over. Mozart works in the service of the Count of Arco in Verona. You ride on a horse to Verona to meet up with Mozart. Come on, I will find Mozart somehow. You quickly learn that Acro is not a nice man. He takes advantage of Mozart's gratitude for rescuing him from the debtor's prison by taking all of the work he can. You hatch a plot to kill Arco. In the movie, he hatches a plot to kill Mozart, but whatever. You become a freelance composer so you can take the work wherever you can. You are still struggling to earn a living and are unsure if your plot will succeed. Okay. Okay. Sing for me, Yellow. No. I'll play some Mozart music. That's just Mozart music for I don't know how long, just 1 hour. Just his music is so long that it's probably best if it's like 5 hours. Brain power, really? Okay. Well, you know what? This is 6 hours and it has 13 million views. It must be good. There we go. Let's hope that I'm not drowned out by the music. Okay, let's just I'll turn it down just quite a bit. Yeah, okay. I'm just making sure that when I turn the audio down, like, okay. Can you hear me fine over the music? I think you can, yeah. I think the real question is, can you hear the music at all? DJ Hick, okay. Wait, I actually have an idea. If I want to listen... Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to dislike this. Okay. I have an idea. For the past couple of streams, I've not been, like, turning the audio down to negative 15 decibels, even though I really should. So what I'm going to do is turn it down to negative 15 decibels, but also turn it up for me, because... Okay. That's still a bit too loud. I'll turn it down like this. Okay. I think... No, just a bit more. How about now? Okay, no. God. Getting this down was always so tricky. I think... Okay. I'll just put this at an even negative 20, and you can complain if you want. Yeah. Right, I'll turn it down a bit, though, because it doesn't need to be that loud. It's good. It's good, Mr. Okay, well, guess what? There it is. Wait, hold on a second. I'm going to do something. I'm going to go to my most recent video, because I've totally neglected to put this down at all in the past couple of videos, so I'm going to send you the last Danganronpa stream, and I want you to confirm for me that the audio is not too damn loud, because I don't think you see, like, originally it was always the case, this was at negative 15, and, like, I could be talking over the audio that would be going at the same time, and like both would be whatever, you know, like yeah. So anyways, I need to send this to you to make sure that it's fine. But yeah, you said the classical music audio was fine, so that's good. That's good. But yeah, you need to see this because I have a feeling that because it's turned up literally all the way, I think maybe it's a bit hard to it's hard to hear me. Not that anyone would want to hear me, but it's like, I mean, still. God, Mozart's great, isn't he? Okay. Let's keep going. You need to kill Arco. You succeed in killing Count Arco in a duel. The people love it, and you are greatly rewarded by the Emperor. Oh, but I thought he didn't like music. Well, okay, he didn't like... It's good, okay. Okay, and I'm assuming this audio is good, because, again, I don't want the music to drown me out. Not that, that's not fine, but just whatever. I could also do some other things, like show what I do in my free time during the stream, but whatever. Let's get this little roleplay thing done with first. Okay. Mozart asks you to take him to Verona, but you are too busy with your success. Your professional life is now secure. Your personal life isn't. Ooh. My personal life isn't. Actually, I have an idea. Let's go to the Amadeus OST. And this is my, you know, the music here is, I think, a bit louder or something. I don't know. It could be a bit quieter. Oh yeah, it is. It is louder. Okay. Alright, I'll just leave that there. Okay. I don't know what I do next. Let's just see what happens. You fall in love with a noble... But what about Mozart? You fall in love with a noblewoman while you are visiting your sister in Vienna. I didn't know Salieri had a sister. Did Antonio Salieri have a sister? Uh-huh. I know the Emperor in the... He's singing Clip It. Clip him. Wait, what? Clip who? Me? Oh, God. Life and career. Okay, well, who... Did he have a sister? Did he have a sister? An older... Yeah, he didn't have a sister in the movie, but... Of course he wouldn't. Yeah, no, just... Look, like, forgive me, man. Like, I just... It's good. It's a good song. It's a good song. It's a good song. Let's go here. The two of you make plans to marry and live a glorious life together despite the social status difference. Mozart asks you to... Wait, what? I didn't mean to do that. You try to kill yourself. Yeah, this is getting too weird for me. You cannot live with the guilt of having killed Count Arco. You decide to shoot... Okay, guns did exist back in the 1780s, but still. It is a workable solution. You feel you have been punished enough and death will end your suffering. Okay, will it? Let's see. A few days later, the doctor of the town sees that you are still breathing and decides to take you home and keep you in his care. Oh, come on. Kill me. The doctor was also a priest before he became a doctor. The priest keeps your body in state, giving it a Christian funeral and Okay, well, I'm dead. Okay, that's good. Okay. It's great. I love it. But that doesn't matter. Okay. Anyways, I'm gonna show you what I do in my free time sometimes, and let's go to it's a thing. I'm gonna turn this up now because nothing is playing in the background, and it's a thing called Foobar, and basically it's you can play different MIDIs in here with different sound fonts. So you can play like if a song exists as a MIDI file, you can basically okay, I'm gonna have to extract this a different way than I thought I could. There we go. There we go. Okay. Anyways, if a MIDI file exists, you can play it in like any sound font. So you can make a Mozart song sound like an Ace Attorney song with the Ace Attorney sound font. It's great. But anyways, here we have this, and what's the current sound font we have? Let's see. Yeah, the Ace Attorney sound font. Let's try something different. Let's try this is Minecraft. Okay. Hit apply, and okay, this is what I used to make that one video with Serenade for Winds. I think that's what it's called. But yeah, okay. And I'm gonna stop talking for a bit because since this is like up all the way, like the music will totally drown me out. So like I can't just have it like play in the background. But yeah, here we go. Okay, and I think you get the point. It's pretty nice, pretty nice. It has the Minecraft note block sound font, and this is a song. I think it's what was it? A Town with an Ocean View from Kiki's Delivery Service. I only watched that movie once. I absolutely loved it when I saw it, but like I mean, I only saw it literally once, so I think I'm gonna have to see it again. Except the thing about every Studio Ghibli movie is that there are two English versions, and of course the original Japanese version, which most people don't bother with. Um, and so yeah, there's the original Japanese version, and then there's the original. I think it was Streamline Pictures, something like that dub, and then there's the Disney dub. So there's three versions, but then there's the fact that Studio Ghibli got annoyed with some of the changes they made in the Disney dub, like the different songs at the beginning and the end. So they had to remove those songs and remove Phil Hartman's improvisation, which I mean, understandable enough, I guess. I mean, they didn't want to sacrifice the creative integrity of Miyazaki, but I don't know. I feel like when the guy who did the improv dies, like a couple weeks after he finishes recording, I feel like he's kind of earned the right to have it left in. But whatever. I mean, I guess it depends on the person. But yeah, I saw the original, not the original dub, but the 1998 version of the Disney dub. You know, before they made the changes, and that's the version most people have watched, I think. And yeah, I think I'm probably always gonna prefer that one just because it's the first one I've watched, and I just prefer the songs. I like Phil Hartman's added lines, and that's about it. the movie is exactly the same. Besides that, it's just those two things: the songs, just those two songs, not the instrumentals, not the entire soundtrack, just the beginning and ending songs, which didn't fit with the rest of the soundtrack anyway, and Phil Hartman's added lines. Like I feel like because that's all that's been changed. I feel like they might as well just kept that in, and that's the version that's on Netflix if you watch it with like a VPN. But whatever. I mean, it's totally understandable why they did that. It's just that I don't know. I feel like if it ever gets a re-release like in 4K or something, because it was a drawn movie, you could scan it to any resolution you want. If they ever make a like a 4K Blu-ray release, I think they should have the different audio options. Maybe even include the Streamline Pictures original, just for the heck of it. Like give people options. There are like 5 cuts of Blade Runner that you can watch, and you only give them one English version of the show, even though there are 3 potential ones to watch. Yeah, I mean the original that came out just a year after the original, the Japanese version cannot be listened to by anyone. It's just you can only find the audio of it in some obscure place. It's strange. Yeah, but this is one of the cases where people actually prefer the original, the quote unquote original Disney dub. But like when Disney dubbed Totoro, people freaking hated that one, even though it's the only one I've seen. But I'm totally rambling, and disliked for y'all. Okay, well I should probably just play the freaking song. I think I totally forgot. Yeah, the HD orchestral songs. You know, sometimes this orchestral sound font makes things sound really cheesy and fake, and sometimes it sounds great. Like I've tried this before with this; it sounds awesome, to be honest. But I'd have to play it. Pretty nice, I'd say. My neighbor Monokuma, indeed. You know, there's an entire MIDI file filled with my neighbor Totoro stuff. So let's my neighbor Totoro MIDI. Yeah, yeah. So what do you think of the of this particular song? Like it? I don't know. I know that Studio Ghibli is pretty rules with an iron fist when it comes to copyright. Same with same with Disney. You know, which Disney has the rights to distribute the movie, and Studio Ghibli made the movie, and both of which are, I think, pretty notorious for being quite strict with copyright. So I mean, if this stream doesn't get destroyed, um, my neighbor Monokuma, show it. Show what? What do you want me to show? I Yeah, like I've played this song before. Where you? That's what I was talking about. Did you like this, which I played in 2 different sound fonts, or did you hear it? But anyways, I downloaded. This is the My Neighbor Totoro soundtrack. In this case, the songs at the beginning and end didn't change, and I feel like in this particular case, it's understandable why. Because in my personal opinion, and you in no way have to agree with me, but in my personal opinion, I prefer the as cheesy as they are, I prefer the late '90s Disney songs they added in the VHS and early DVD release. I just feel like the original songs are just okay in comparison. I don't know. It just when I hear the original Japanese songs, it just the movie feels like a dime a dozen. Like listening to those, it's only when the songs stop playing that I can actually think of the movie as something worth watching. But what for some reason when I just hear the really cheesy Disney songs that weren't in the original version. I much prefer those. I honestly do not understand why, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know. But at least in the Netflix version, they kept those in. Show it. Yes. Steam demand. Okay. Show the Jeff the N. Okay. No, thank you. But okay, I'm assuming you're saying that. Yeah, yeah. I've seen. I've freaking seen what you were talking about. I've heard the song. So yeah. Well, actually, I'm gonna try that with one more thing. I'll do it with the Ace Attorney sound font. Then I'm going to play some Totoro songs, and you know, what was I gonna say? I honestly don't know what I was gonna say. Also, I don't think you've seen My Neighbor Totoro yet, or Spirited Away for that matter, or anything that would really give you the context of these songs. But like here, I've heard these several times before, so like I'm thinking of this in comparison to the originals and not just on their own. But like this is kind of the first time for you, so yeah. But anyways, I'm gonna play what do the Tristan diss track. No thanks. Anyways, so I'm gonna play what this sounds like with the Ace Attorney sound font now. Then I'm gonna do the Totoro songs. And yeah. One thing about Studio Ghibli though is that they didn't really rule with an iron fist on my Tonori no Totoro video, but with the vocals removed, they actually seemed totally fine with that. Like I mean, okay, well, I mean, I can't monetize the video, and they'll put some ads on it, but at the same time, like they haven't taken it down or anything, so I think I'm gonna be fine. It's just like monetizing stuff, which I mean, it's not really fair use to upload a song in its entirety and only remove the vocals. Like I mean, doing that, I mean, like you might as well just upload the original song, and like that's not freaking fair use. So yeah. Well, that's what that sounds like. And yeah, let's let's do a different song. Okay, well, first of all, let's go to these are never not Kiki yet. These are never named the way they are in the movie. Like this is Totoro 1, Totoro 2, Totoro 3, but yeah. Oh yeah, that's Stroll or Hey Let's Go. Hey, let's go. Hey, let's go. This is that again. Totoro, 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 Totoro. Okay, but what am I looking for? Oh, this is a bit too loud, so let me just put this down. Yeah, so I can offer my commentary and have it playing at the same time, you know. Anyways, I'll leave it around there. Okay. Anyways, if you can listen. This is The Village in May. It's probably one of my favorite songs from the movie, and this literally does not play on Fubar. It doesn't work. Like, okay, maybe it works now, but last time, whenever I tried this, it always just did not read. It did not read at all. So, actually, Okay, no, I hit the freaking wrong. Just Kiki's Delivery Service and My Neighbor Totoro. Like I was one night I had a bunch of time on my hands, and like I mean together they weren't that long. It was just like a little over 3 hours, or maybe like 3 hours exactly. And it's just like, okay, I have 3 hours to spare. So I watched My Neighbor Totoro first, and then I watched Kiki's Delivery Service, one after the other, and like with no break whatsoever. And it's kind of because of this that I rated both a 9 out of 10. I consider them both near perfect, with only a couple of flaws, which made them not perfect 10 out of 10s. And I love the soundtracks, and to me, both of them are now inseparable. So, like, when I see Kiki's Delivery Service, I think I'm gonna find a My Neighbor Totoro song. It's clouded my vision the way I watched the two movies. Of course, when they came out, though, people had to wait a whole year for Kiki to come out after My Neighbor Totoro. Yeah, see, it's a corrupted file, even though it plays completely fine on its own, and that's the same thing with the other file. I think it's just named weird or something, but even when I change the name, it just doesn't it just doesn't work. So, yeah, but what's something that would I think one no wait something here is Path of the Wind. So wait, what? So this doesn't play either. Well, what's this? This is Path of the Wind. God, that was a great song too. I mean, all the songs are great, but Path of the Wind especially was amazing. Does Kaze 2 work? Okay. I hope Kaze 2 works, because I mean, I I don't remember the original Kaze not working last time. So what's happening? I don't know. Anyways, add files. Okay, please work. Please work. Also, all of these files are pretty old. I realize now. Oh, there we go. It's working. Yeah, everything's from like. I mean, MIDI's are never gonna get any better, so it's not like it matters. But I think these are all like from 2008 or something. Let's 2005, like modified 2005 and Access 2021. So these all came out. They came out around the time the Disney dub came out. I think I'm I'm not sure if it might have only been on DVD, but I also feel like they might have released that on Blu-ray. So I don't know, but yeah, I guess 2005 was a big time for Totoro. So I guess maybe that's why these exist. I really have no clue. Crying right now. I wonder, is My Neighbor Totoro out on 4K? I mean, it's not like you get much detail. It's animation, but okay. I think they're showing like HBO Max, could just cause, oh, I don't know. Tighter on 2.1 they're talking about Totoro himself. Yeah, I don't know about you, but I've always hated the dad from that movie when I was watching it. Yeah. Yeah. I've seen Kiki once, and I've seen this two times, because in class once, not in class, in it was on Friday, and I don't have school on Friday, but there's this like after school thing on Friday. You just stay there when your parents don't want to deal with you. I don't know, but anyways, a teacher chose My Neighbor Totoro, and I was in third grade. I did not want to watch it at all, but then I watched it, and it was probably the best hour and a half ever spent at school. So that was nice. I'm just showing it. It's the 146th greatest film of all time, according to IMDb, and considering the fact that there are an estimated 500,000 movies still counting, I think 146th place is pretty impressive. Again, I gave it a 9. I gave Kiki a 9. I just I'm gonna be going on some more rants about. Actually, let's take a look at all my ratings for a second here. I know this doesn't have to do with what I'm talking about, but like, I mean, I was searching whether Totoro was on 4K or whatever, and then I got sidetracked. I guess who's back? Hello there. Hello. Hello. I was just playing some different MIDI files from My Neighbor Totoro and Kiki's Delivery Service in Fubar, with different sound fonts, and yeah, so that's what was going on. I was going to look for it if My Neighbor Totoro has ever been released on 4K, but then I got sidetracked and went to IMDb and started talking about what Uh, what's this? Is it? Is this okay? Announced, but has it actually been released? Okay, I think My Neighbor Totoro has been released in 4K. Yeah. Okay. Well, whatever. I'm not entirely. Again, I'm not entirely sure what could be enhanced with a 4K release, but I mean, it's like I mean the film was made, analog, like, like, and that is to say that it wasn't drawn digitally, so they're not locked into a certain resolution. They could scan this at any resolution they wanted, and it would still look good for the most part, because it's 35 millimeter. The resolution is almost endless, but whatever. Anyways, I just figured I'd go to my ratings on IMDb and just elaborate on those, and then I'm gonna finally play more Totoro music, because I don't know. I've always wanted to talk about my ratings on here and just why I've given them, offer my opinions on some of the films I've seen, and yeah, I don't know, because I don't always share my opinions on things. I think now is the time for me to do so. So the first film I ever rated on here was Steve Jobs, which came out in 2015. It was directed by Danny Boyle. It was written by Aaron Sorkin. It stars Michael Fassbender, Kate Winslet, Seth Rogen, Jeff Daniels. I watched a bit of it with Harper once, but I watched the whole film before that, and I don't know why, but I really saw this as a perfect film when I first watched it. I thought the dialogue by Aaron Sorkin was incredibly witty and snappy and great and just incredibly fun to listen to, and not to mention the fact that at the beginning of the movie, it goes straight into the action. I won't quite spoil it if you want to watch it, but like what they're doing, they don't explain it. They don't give you a chance to get introduced to the main character. All that is known by just jumping straight into the action, just straight to them trying to get this problem solved. And honestly, I thought that was really great filmmaking on the parts of the people who made it, because, like, I mean, they took no time with any lengthy exposition. You learn all that by watching the events unfold, and but in that's why I gave it a 9 out of 10 at the time. But looking back, I feel like there's some stuff that doesn't work quite as much. Some of the dialogue, though, all of it is witty. Some of it is way more awkward. Um, I I feel like you know I feel like the way some things are resolved is not always great. Like, I mean you're watching the first. It's split into thirds. You're watching the movie, whatever. Just you're watching the first third, and, like, you've got the setup and the middle ground. The rising action and the payoff, but the payoff is not as good as, like, everything leading up to it. Like, it's a series of events that you enjoy watching, but then it just sort of ends, and then you skip into 4 years later and you enjoy that too, but then it just ends, and then you skip to 10 years later and it just ends. And I don't know. I'd have to rewatch the movie. I think I'd give it lower than 9 if I were to watch it again, but it was still very nice. Watching it. Um, it's amazing that the second I try and talk about, okay, well, someone's come back. Anyways, now going on to There Will Be Blood. I'm probably gonna get killed for giving it only a 7, as opposed to like a 9 or a 10. And don't get me wrong, it was a great experience watching it. But I just feel like I don't see what other people see in this movie. I think Daniel, not Daniel, it was Paul Thomas Anderson electing to shoot this film on film in 35 millimeter in anamorphic, and to edit it using old school techniques, and to use barely any CGI, and Daniel Day Lewis's performance. All that, there is great skill in this movie, but I mean, there it's just, I feel like there's not a strong enough connection with me. I don't know. It's a series of events I like watching, a series of 2 hour, 40-minute events, but it's like I feel like for there to be some sort of emotional or thematic connection, he had to add more. But the way I see it, it's just a greedy businessman goes about his business for a couple of years, and then he kills a guy, and then the movie ends. I mean, I shouldn't have brought up that he kills a guy, because that's kind of a spoiler, but yeah, I don't know. It was a very good movie for what it did right. I don't know. I just don't see it as a masterpiece. I'd have to watch it again. Oh, what's this? Oh no, wait. He what? Bandark. Allow me to explain. Allow me to explain that. Okay, because the fact that this is even on here is going to put me on some list somewhere. So I'm going to explain why. I'm one of those spammers who spams in the cause of good, and I gave this film a 1 out of 10 without watching it because of the content. I'd heard other people review it. I'd heard other people talk about the contents. It has a message of not sexualizing kids by sexualizing kids, and I mean, obviously all of that is awful, but I don't even have to explain that to you. Everything bad that's worthwhile that's been said about this movie has been said. So like all I can do is show you the 1 out of 10 rating and just move on. So yeah. Hmm. Send into prison. Great. Anyways, moving on from that, we go to the Silence of the Lambs. Yeah. Again, this is another one of those cases where it's like I don't really know what else to say. I gave the film a 9 out of 10, and I could probably give it a 10 out of 10 if I really wanted, because it's obviously it's one of the greatest films of all time, with some of the greatest performances of all time, and some of the best writing of all time, and some of the most memorable moments, just the best everything. I mean, Anthony Hopkins totally lost himself in playing Hannibal Lecter. He just totally becomes the character, and he's not even a huge part of the movie, and yet he leaves a strong impression on you. But the other stuff also leaves a strong impression on you, because Clarice Starling is not played totally hammy and totally off the wall, and she doesn't have that many quotable lines, but she's still a great female protagonist. And the film doesn't go on for too long. It's less than 2 hours. Every scene feels justified, and it goes by at a very quick pace. It never drags. And I, I continue to gush about what this film does right, but I mean, who the heck hasn't said what this film does right before? It's like I'm not adding anything to the conversation by saying what it does right anymore. So I'll talk about what I think it does wrong. Um, I do like the fact that this film is as short as it is, because again, anyone could watch it and anyone could enjoy it. It's not a very big. It's you don't invest much of your time into it, but at the same time, I feel like you're basing it off of a 400-page novel, and there's a bunch of other stuff you could elaborate on, and you could get more scenes with Hannibal Lecter and dive more into his psychology. And I don't know. I just feel like if they added like 10 more minutes, it could have been better for it. It would have to pause in areas. It wouldn't have as good. The pacing wouldn't be as great, but it's not like a Danganronpa thing where I feel like it's a 10-hour game stretched across 30 hours. It would just be a story that could be told in 2 hours, told with 10 extra minutes. Just flesh out some more stuff, because I don't know. As it is, I know everything starts and it ends, but here it's like it shouldn't feel like it starts and it ends. But with this, you get that impression. It's like, okay, it started, now it's ended. It's that sort of a thing. And yeah, another thing is that I feel like by the end of the movie, we have Clarice Starling actively going on this quest to find Buffalo Bill, and then he's been found for her. Like, I mean, yeah, she gets to the location. Yeah, she does a lot of detecting work. Yeah, I mean, near the end, there's this big climax where she's running from him, and it's very tenseful. It's very tense. Tenseful. Tenseful is not a word. It's very tense. It's very well shot, very well acted, well scored, of course. But it's like she's gone through all this work to get there, and then he's just found for her. I mean, I could be remembering it wrong, but I really feel like I really feel like they could have done better than that. And I don't know. I guess not, since it was kept in the movie. And of course, I mean, the fact I still gave it a 9 out of 10 means that this is small in the grand scheme of things. But like, I feel like I really feel like she should have actually been the one to have found the information that led to Buffalo Bill's precise location, but that was not the case. And another thing is the fact that I always question the fact that an AI, not an AI, an FBI trainee, was the one to do all this detecting work. You'd expect it to be someone who's already graduated. But at the same time, I don't know how the FBI works, so that's never been something that's bothered me too much because I don't know. I don't really know the proceedings myself, and it was never like she was officially part of the case. She was just sort of helping out. Um, so whatever. I don't know. It's something I can forgive because there is reason to believe it would make sense, but it is a little strange. Um, Reveal the Young Monk movie, a la all day. Huh. You know what? I'm doing good. Anyways, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. You know, I haven't seen JoJo's Bizarre Adventure in so long. I only watched the first three parts, and I really enjoyed it while playing it. Well, not playing it, watching it. But the thing is, it's like, I mean, I don't know. I can't really give it more than an 8 or less than an 8. It's like it was incredibly entertaining to watch, and it never really dragged. But that's the thing. It's like, I mean, um, what was his name? Araki kind of just threw shit at the fan to see what would not the fan at the wall to see what would stick, and I don't know. I guess a fair amount of stuff stuck still, but I don't know, man. I really feel like it's not very masterful. There aren't very many themes. The emotional moments are just there because they have to be there. Like when Polnareff is crying or something like that, it's like it's so phony. It's it's so forced. You know, the show has more character to it when it's being weird and awkward, but like when the characters have to be heartfelt, I don't believe it at all. It feels like it had to be there. It felt like it was a requirement. The show's better when it's being that weird, funny meme show, and when it is, it's a solid 8 out of 10. But you know, I have my problems with it. Um, well, okay, no one said anything. We're back to one concurrent viewer. I think the fact that Cutie showed up in my reviewed movies, turned off someone from continuing to watch the video. That's incredible. Anyways, I told you I watched these films right next to each other because they're literally right next to each other. I'm gonna review these two at the same time. So okay, first of all, My Neighbor Totoro. Yeah, you know, My Neighbor Totoro is no plot, no plot whatsoever. I guess there's the character arc of Mei and Satsuki kind of not liking each other and then liking each other more near the end. But like, I mean, I thought they always seemed pretty close, so I don't think that counts. Like Totoro doesn't like die at the end or something. Um, but emotion, like when watching this, I was overcome by emotion, and I sort of ignored the whole character arcs thing and the and what else? The plot thing, the character arcs thing. I ignored everything that actually made a good movie because honestly, I was just sucked in by the animation and the story and that sense of being a kid again. It's like 2001 A Space Odyssey. It's what it's the vague scenes that happen that are, you know, strung together by them by time and by the progress of time, and the way that you interpret them, but it's not so much the plot structure or stuff like that. You know, it's like I don't know. I just got something so heartfelt out of this movie that I don't even really care that like I don't have a strong 3 act structure to be connected to. I don't even care about the fact that the characters don't really change near the end. Like, I mean, it's just I don't know. This stirred up feelings in me I hadn't felt in a while. My movie was great. Shaking my head, haven't seen it. Anyways, I think it deserves a 9 out of 10 because of all it did right. But at the same time, you have to take into account it's not going to get a perfect 10 out of 10 because again, what usually makes a good movie is not here. You know, it's not a huge plot. There is almost no plot at all. It's like, I mean, they show up at this house and then they meet do stuff and then the movie ends and again there's not any great character arcs with the folks. And a genuine thing that actually bothered me was that, Satsuki and this kid, I honestly forgot, his name, but this boy, they clearly have like a little, like a premature romance thing going on, like that I guess wouldn't go anywhere, but it would be nice to actually see them follow that up with something, like to see it actually go somewhere, but it's just like, it's just hinted, not even hinted at, it's kind of shoved in your face, and then it just never gets resolved. I don't know. I'd much prefer that it did. And then there's the fact that, this isn't a movie that lends itself to a big ending climax, but then like May gets lost, and I guess it organically makes sense, but it did feel sort of tacked on with how calm the rest of the movie was. But that's the thing, though. It's like the atmosphere it creates, and the animation and the music. It's like it's that sort of stuff that's great. And because the movie's not even an hour and a half, I can forgive the fact that it's short on everything that usually makes a good movie, because I mean, it's just what it does right. It deserves the 9 out of 10 rating, I think. I don't know. I feel like I'm being very generous with this movie, because it barely does anything a movie usually should do. But I don't know. I think it deserves the 9 out of 10. Mm. This was a great movie. However, there's a small error. I saw 9 out of 10. Um, I mean, I don't know about you, but a lot of people rate great movies like a 7 or 8 out of 10. If I'm giving it like a 9 out of 10, that's like practically that is masterpiece territory. I'm basically calling this movie almost perfect. Like, to call it 10 out of 10 is to say like there's nothing wrong with it whatsoever. But I don't know. Everything has its flaws, and this one did, bruh. In fact, I listed like 3 errors. The characters don't evolve. There is no plot. That they set up something and never and never resolve it. Like, I mean, bruh. I'm pretty valid in what I said about this film. With that being said, it is near perfect besides those things, for what it is. And again, that's the thing, for what it is. You would not give a movie like this a 9 out of 10 in any other circumstance, but it's kind of a breed of its own. So I think it deserves the 9. So yeah, this is the most invalid thing I've ever seen, if I'm being totally honest, Vincent, but I'll let it slide. Kiki's Delivery Service, basically the same thing, except here there is an arc. Here there are actually themes to delve into. Here it has the more typical aspects of a story, and I think for that I kind of preferred this one a little bit more. It's a bit longer. You can delve more into the psychology of Kiki and empathize with her a bit more. There's Gigi, and I mean, Gigi's funny. He's played by Phil Hartman in the English dub, and that really really adds something, in my personal opinion. The music, of course, is great. No matter what version you're watching, you're probably going to be getting a great experience. Although I watched the 1998 version myself, and yeah, everything I could say about this, like the atmosphere, the music, everything that's good about this was good about My Neighbor Totoro, but it's slightly advanced because of Phil Hartman, and because of the fact that Kiki actually goes from being unsure of herself and hot-headed to being wiser, and to life actually turning out for her, and just being smarter about going into things, and actually having a full arc. um Anyways, yeah, I don't know, it's just, even so, I feel like that stuff, to me, it's like, I feel like these are both kind of on equal footing, and Kiki's Delivery Service isn't quite as, I don't know, it's not quite, it didn't, I don't think it has quite as much as an impact of My Neighbor Totoro. Like, everything I like about My Neighbor Totoro is stuff I like about Kiki's Delivery Service. It just adds a teeny bit more. So it's because of that I can't give this one a 10 and give this one a 9, or give this one an 8 and give this one a 9. I rate them pretty much equal, because like the stuff, most of the stuff this does right is not monumental when you realize it's most of what this does right. But it adds a few things, and I think it elevates it to these both being equal. But because of those few added things, I'd probably choose this more often if I had to choose what to put on. It just has more stuff to like. I don't know. Castle in the Sky. This is rated higher than Kiki's Delivery Service. It's 2 hours and 5 minutes. It's PG. it actually has a villain. It has an actual plot. It has a 3 act story structure. The villain is freaking played by Mark Hamill. This had the makings of a film that I would like better than either Kiki's Delivery Service or either My Neighbor Totoro, but because of it demanding me to take it seriously, I kind of liked it less. I don't know. It's like I really just don't know. It's like I mean the main villain doesn't really have much of a motivation until the very end, which is a very good motivation, but it would be nice if I knew it the entire time. It honestly would have just elevated his character if I knew what the hell he wanted besides just wanting the robot and wanting the technology, but we never explain why he wants it, and it's like I have no clue why we're supposed to be like this. The two main characters are kind of flat. I honestly forgot his name, and he has no motivation besides like I really like this girl, which I mean I guess you do a lot of stuff when you're like 13 years old and you like someone, but at the same time, I feel like he should have had more more purpose than that. As for the girl, again, totally forgot her name. It's been a while. I remember her also being very flat. She was voice acted very flat, but she was kidnapped and held on a flying ship for God knows how long by some evil colonel. So I think she's kind of earned the right to be a little bit of an oddball. But with this guy, he has like no motivation. He's determined for reasons I don't quite understand, and I don't know. That's not good writing. And I mean, I gave it a 7 because it was incredibly entertaining to watch. The music was great, like all the superficial stuff was amazing, and it was never boring. It was good. It was good. It just wasn't anything more than good. Like I mean, because of the stuff it does wrong, it's like I mean these never added those variables at all. These didn't like focus on adding two main characters or adding a villain or adding this big quest the characters have to go on. But when this film adds that, it seems like it fails at it. I honestly feel like when moving into when Studio Ghibli moved into their next movies, they decided to emit the stuff they didn't do so well at in Castle in the Sky because yeah, don't get me wrong. I'd recommend watching it. It's a solid 7 out of 10, but 7 out of 10 is just good. It's not a masterpiece. It's not great. It's more than okay, but that's all there is to it. Good is more than okay, and I don't know. I want to love this movie. I don't. MythBusters. What can I say about MythBusters? Incredibly entertaining. Ralph Breaks the Internet. A bunch of pop culture references just thrown at you all at once. I don't quite I see no reason to rate this movie any more than a 4, and I think even a 4 is generous. Good Will Hunting. It sucks with this too because this is rated as one of the greatest films ever written, and I want to love this movie. I don't. I don't know. It was good. It was good, but it doesn't resonate with me. The writing feels simple, and it feels like anyone could write a movie like this. Um, the performances are all right, I guess. I mean, they use the F word every 2 seconds in an attempt to sound artsy. It doesn't quite work. I don't know. Their portrayal of genius is not quite. It's not obnoxious, and it doesn't immediately get you to post on r/I am very smart. But I don't. I don't know. I'd say that's the main thing. Is like Good Will Hunting is not portrayed as this egotistical jerk. The fact that he's a genius mathematician is not something that makes you hate him, or makes you love him. It's just like that's just part of his character, and it plays a small role in the plot, but it's not it's not like his personality is he's very smart, and that I very much like that. But other than that, I don't know. I can't give it more than a 7. And when you hear about the unethical, uh, the ethics, just the ethics of the counseling sessions going on, it's like I don't know. I don't know. I want to give this movie a 9 or a 10 because of how highly rated it is, but I really can't. Iron Man, I gave an 8 because I don't know. Coco, it was good. It was just good. That's all there is. That there was to it. The Social Network, very good, great, awesome. 8 out of 10. but I don't know. The music could be overbearing. Good music, but overbearing. I feel like the dialogue works here better than it does in Steve Jobs. I don't know. It makes sense to me. I don't know, there's never really a scene where like the lines feel too phony or anything. Of course, the shots are very well composed and all the performances are great. It's just a great film, but you know, you have your issues with Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark. A great film. It's just a great film. I don't know. I feel like it deserves an 8. I can't go beyond that. This I was bored one day. It's good for a kids film, but it goes on for too damn long. Airplane. It was pretty funny. It deserved an 8. Meet the Robinsons. I don't know. It's nothing special at all, but it's worthy of a 7. The Mask of Zorro. Again, it's nothing special at all. It's just, I could poke fun at this for days, but it's solid popcorn entertainment. Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory is a classic. I've seen it like 10,000 times, and to give it anything less than a 9 would probably be blasphemy. Wreck-It Ralph was I also very much liked Wreck-It Ralph. I think it deserves the 8, but it's not a masterpiece, but it's definitely twice as good as the second one. The Lego Movie, I've watched it several times. Classic. I'm okay. It came out a couple years ago. You missed one. I really don't know if you can't tell me the one that I missed. I'm not going to go back to it. And yeah, the Lego Movie deserving of a 9, I think, and that's about it. Deserving of a 9. Home Alone 7, just solid entertainment. A lot of stuff that doesn't make sense, like the burglars being total idiots and not getting caught. Just I'd have to watch it and list my points bit by bit, but it's not enough to give this movie any less than a 7. The Time Machine, it was a 4, because after reading the book, it's like you kind of wonder what they were thinking. It takes like half the film to finally adapt the book in a film that's only an hour and a half long. But even looking at it at its own merits and just ignoring that, like the brilliant inventor has like no personality whatsoever. It's not really trying to say anything about society. It's not too entertaining. It jumps from time to time without any rhyme or reason, and it feels like a first draft. It's not good. It's just, it's just not that good. And then you hear Jeremy Irons is in the movie, like one of the better actors out there, and then he just doesn't show up until the very end, and he does nothing of importance. I don't get I don't get this movie. I watched it. We watched it in class in school after reading the book, and we kind of discussed what it was saying about society and stuff such as that. And yeah, honestly, and the director was Simon Wells, a descendant of the guy who wrote the original book, and they couldn't. It's not even a good adaptation in spirit, because it really does nothing right. I don't know. It's just not good. It's just not good. It's not connected well. It's not written well. It just sort of sucks. And Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc. When I first rated it, I gave it an 8. Now I'm giving it a 7, and I'd say the main reason why is that it's not a masterpiece by any means, and that's and in total fairness, stuff with devoted fan bases that like talk about the game all the time and stuff that's that's popular doesn't have to be a masterpiece. It just has to be something you very much enjoy, and it's like I very much enjoyed it. It was entertaining. The pacing could sometimes be awful. The climax of the game kind of just ended very abruptly, despite them having to explain every other frickin' thing. And then there's like some of the voice acting was mixed, and that's an English version thing. I won't dock the game too much if like some of the voice acting cannot be good, but like Bryce Papenbrook, for instance, sometimes he's great, and I think his voice really fits. But then sometimes I don't know what he's doing. I I mean, no offense. I've talked about him all the time. I sometimes watched shows only because he's in it, because I like seeing him in stuff. I think he's a cool guy, and I don't know. It's a sort of familiar thing, hearing a guy you've heard in other stuff. I don't know. It's nice to see him and stuff, but I don't think his performance was anything to write home about here. And I don't know. It's a good game. It's an entertaining game. The trials weren't too predictable, aside from the first one, because if you flipped your computer on accident, you'd get an answer to the entire case, and the entire trial would be redundant. But I mean, besides that, it was mostly pretty good. Yeah, and I like the fact that all the characters are pretty well developed, and even if you don't like them, you can understand why they're the way that they are. Like, I mean, Byakuya is such a jerk, but you almost feel sympathy for him when you realize why he's a jerk. Like I feel I feel like the characters aren't exactly they're not poorly written, is what I'm saying. I mean, like they're never inconsistent when interacting with people in game, and when you do their free time events, you get to know even more about them. And the fact that someone would put the time in to actually develop characters fully and then make sure that they stay like that. I feel like that something deserves extra points if you remain consistent when writing 16 character. Okay, well, 16 because of Monokuma, I guess, but like just talking about the students, you can't really say 16 because I mean, you barely ever talk to Junko, and the Junko that's supposedly there is actually Mukuro Ikusaba, so like it's more like 15, but to like maintain the writing for 15 characters, and it's a tough thing to do. So for as fun as this game was to play at times, and for how nostalgic I am for it, it definitely deserves a positive rating. But for what it does wrong, for the painful pacing and the sometimes mixed voice acting, again, I won't dock it too much because that's just in the English version. And for what? I thought there was something else. What was it? The pacing and what was the other thing? Oh. No, I actually don't remember the other thing. Okay, yeah. Well, the pacing is a big thing, is what I'm trying to say. So I don't know. It's just, yeah. And one thing you have to take into account that with a film, it's better to think of, or anything, it's better to think of it as like a 5 as a default rating, and you take away or add points based on what it does especially right or especially wrong. But if you give everything a default rating of 10, you're gonna give almost everything a very good rating. Like if it really is just the pacing that I don't like about it, this could be given an 8 or a 9. But because I don't know, because it's not too masterful in its execution, besides just being a very fun playthrough, when I'm not bored by it, then I think a 7 is good. But I don't know. And maybe Danganronpa 2 will get better, but so far I have way more stuff to critique because of all it copies from the first game, and the fact that Hajime and Nagito are freaking idiots. But that's stuff you nitpick as it happens. Like in the overall game, that's stuff you kind of forget about. But like it's just the stuff that the second game is copying from the first game. It's like, why do you even have to bring back the they've been asleep for 2 years thing at all? Or, well, that they forgot about the 2 years they spent there. Like, you could totally eliminate that and it wouldn't change anything, but they decided to keep that in. I don't know. And now I'm ranting about something that isn't even this particular game. But yeah, this particular game, it's worthy of a 7. For what it does wrong, I can't give it an 8 or higher. But it's a solid 7 game, and maybe I'll play it again and reconsider and give it like an 8. But yeah, I don't know. It's just looking back, you kind of take a look at the stuff that that you realize that all your frustration wasn't just at you being bad at the game, but because sometimes the game was flawed. So yeah, solid 7 there. I'm gonna have to see what I give Danganronpa 2, because I hear it's like the masterpiece of the Danganronpa series, but I obviously have not finished it. So I'm gonna have to see what it's like once I played the whole game. And yeah, I gotta go right now. So bye.